So Theo, first just start by telling me a little bit about what brought you here, and is it your first visit to Merritt?
This is my first visit to Merritt. I think the furthest I've been is to Kamloops when I was playing for the Moose Jaw Warriors back in the day, many moons ago, so to speak. And the reason why I'm here is to talk about playing with fire and basically, it's basically the book kind of in an hour to an hour and a half speech with lots of antidotes and lots of inspiration, a lot of hope, and helping people get over some obstacles that they may be facing. And I really enjoy this, and I really enjoy doing it. I enjoy meeting people, and obviously the Aboriginal community is very near and dear to my heart. I'm a I'm a Métis person myself, so and like I said earlier, this is my 77th First Nations community I've been to since my book came out. So I've got to see some pretty amazing places along my travels here, and BC is beautiful. Merritt is beautiful, and so it's great to be here. And one of my old teammates comes from here, Paul Cruz, who I played with in Calgary.
A little bit more about why you felt it was important to come out here and talk with Aboriginal students and the rest of the Merritt community. It's a small community, but it's a big showing tonight.
Yeah. Well, there's no secret that the Aboriginal community faces a lot of challenges and a lot of issues, around, the residential school stuff that happened many years ago, and the trickle-down effect that's had on all the communities is something that I relate to, obviously. And I've been on this incredible spiritual journey over the last probably 6 years now, and it's really an opportunity for me to give back and kind of explain that healing is possible, and that my whole background is team oriented and team based, right? And all these communities are like a team, right? And they need to rally around each other, they need to support each other, they need to love each other, they need to be vulnerable and compassionate and all these things, and that's how they'll start that process of healing. I don't think you're ever completely healed from what happened to you, but what a gift it is to be in recovery for the rest of your life, because I know that even though I've been sober for a long time, I've had lots of rock bottoms in sobriety too as well, and it's important for people to know that just because you stop a certain behavior or a certain action, it doesn't mean that you're completely healed or cured. It's a process that you have to go through, and it takes a lifetime to figure it out.
Now, you mentioned that your speech tonight is going to be about your book, Playing with Fire, which chronicles your personal struggles. Maybe talk to me a little bit more about those personal struggles, and tell me how you managed to turn those into something positive.
Well, I grew up in a household that was very chaotic. Both my parents struggled with their own addictions. My dad was an alcoholic, my mom was a prescription pill addict, and so there was a lot of arguing, a lot of chaos in my house, and obviously as a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old, you're watching this. It really has an impact on your life and your development years, so to speak, and so it started there, and then for about 2.5, 3 years, I was molested by a coach of mine, over 150 times, and that left some a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, all those things. And so I carried, what happened to me as a child and then what happened to me as an adolescent. I carried those secrets around for a long time, and got into alcohol and drugs and gambling and all these addictions. And about 8.5 years ago, I made a choice that I wasn't going to continue the way that I was continuing on. And so I got sober and just really started cleaning up the wreckage of my past, so to speak. And what's come out of it is that I've been able to go to all these Aboriginal communities and sit down with elders and talk to them and listen to them and be a part of their ceremonies and their spirituality, and really I think that's the thing that really saved my life, is that they have shown me the way to spirituality, and I've been around addictions pretty much my whole life, and one thing that I find consistent in people that have a lot of serenity and calm and peace are the people that have found that certain spirituality, which keeps them grounded, keeps you humble, without ego, these type of things, and then you really come to the point where your mission statement is, I just want to help people. I just want to reach out and do whatever I can to maybe, figure it out at some point. I call them light bulb moments where, people have sort of an epiphany or a spiritual awakening, so to speak, and only I can do that for myself. As much as we may want to push people or get them to do it, it's very difficult. You have to allow somebody to hit their own personal rock bottom, and from there, hopefully, they have that light bulb moment or spiritual awakening where, they get on that path of healing and like I said, cleaning up the wreckage of your past.
What motivated you to share your story, to help others? Because it's not easy for people to necessarily do that when they've had such traumatizing experiences.
Yeah, for sure. Well, emotional pain is a wonderful motivator for anybody that has gone through some tough times. And, I had got to the point in my life where, nothing was working anymore. I couldn't drink enough. I couldn't do enough drugs. I couldn't spend enough money. I couldn't eat enough food to kind of numb out that emotional pain. And so, it brought me to my knees, and, I got up, and like I said, I made a choice and I made a decision, and, really started to get honest with myself, and writing the book was an incredible, cathartic experience, and it's been an amazing, 5 or 6 years since that happened. But I think what people need to know and need to realize is that, we are human beings, and we all make mistakes. It's just, you can't go through your whole entire life and not make a bad choice or make a poor decision or, hurt somebody that you love or whatever it is, right? And so, and we do a pretty good job of beating ourselves up, when we make mistakes. So, it's about self-forgiveness. It's about surrounding yourself with good people and, asking for help, talking about your feelings, the more you stuff those feelings inside of you, eventually you're going to have some sort of explosion, right? Because you can't, you can only stuff so much, and then eventually, it comes out in the wrong way. And so, like I said, you just need to realize that, first of all, it wasn't your fault. You're not alone. And that healing is possible. Healing is possible, and but like I said, pain is a great motivator for getting people to change their lives.
Just real quickly, you wrote the bestseller Playing with Fire a few years back, but you also got another book coming out.
Yeah, you know, I've met some really incredible healers, you know, along my journey over the last, you know, 5 or 6 years, and but there's one in particular that you know, I truly really connected with, and basically this book is all about healing and what I've learned from writing the first book, and you know, something that I thought was uncommon is the most common thing, you know, and so she's a neurobiologist who specializes in childhood trauma, and so we have spent the last 2 years kind of rewiring my brain from all the trauma that happened to me, you know, as a kid and as an adolescent, and you know, it's been a pretty cool experience, you know, and you know, when I talk about light bulb moments, those are the moments when, you know, those old neurons that become such a huge part of how we think and how our feelings, you know, create. Those light bulb moments break those old neurons and create new ones, which are the new memories, and they're not as painful as the old ones. So, you know, it's been a really incredible experience.
Nice. Now, I mean, today you're a great motivational speaker, best-selling author, but everybody knows that the legend behind Theo Fleury is the hockey player. So I kind of want to ask you a few real quick for the fans out there, the Chicago and Calgary jerseys out there. Just a few quick things they might not know about your career. So quickly, for all the hockey players out there, favorite pre-game meal?
Chicken and pasta.
Chicken and pasta, that's what everybody gets. Favorite city to play hockey in? I got an idea, but...
Geez, you know, there's so many great cities to play in: Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Boston, Toronto, Montreal. You know, I like playing in all the original 6 places. Detroit was great too.
Best visiting barn, if there's one?
Old Chicago Stadium. Yeah.
Team you hated playing against?
Edmonton Oilers.
Team you love to play against?
Edmonton Oilers.
Most memorable goal you ever scored?
1991 Stanley Cup Finals Game 6 in Edmonton. Scored the overtime winner to go to Game 7.